Well, good evening, visitors. Welcome to the Australian War Memorial's Last Post ceremony. My name is Richard Cruz, and joining us today from the Australian Army is Major Letty Rowe. We warmly welcome the family of Warrant Officer Alan John Painting, whose story will be told shortly. Family and visitors will be laying floral tributes at the base of the Pool of Reflection. We are honoured to acknowledge His Grace, Archbishop Dominic Namberti, Secretary for Relations with States, Holy See, who is accompanied by Archbishop Paul Gallagher, Apostolic Nuncio to Australia. And we are also acknowledging Mr. Josef Reichhardt, Deputy Ambassador, Embassy of Germany, and Colonel Dr. Hans Hubertusmack, Commander of the Bundeswehr Centre for Military History, who are joining us also for the ceremony this evening. We welcome the veterans who have served, those that are still serving, and the families that support them. We acknowledge the members of RSL and Services Clubs Association and RSL Victoria and RSL Queensland who are watching the broadcast of this ceremony around Australia. Also this evening, students will be laying wreaths on behalf of the following schools. From New South Wales, Yamba Public School. From Victoria, the Victorian College for the Deaf, Melbourne. Drysdale Primary School. And Urbray Agricultural High School, Netherby, South Australia. Could I ask you to please stand and join in singing the National Anthem? The Australian War Memorial was the vision of Charles Bean, Australia's First World War official historian. Bean landed with the Australian troops on Gallipoli and stayed with them at the front through to the end of the war. The idea of this national memorial and museum came to him in Pozières, France, in the depths of the bloody fighting of 1916. Bean's idea was that this would be a place where families, friends, and all Australians could mourn their loved ones buried in faraway places. It would also be a place that could help all Australians understand what these men and women had endured and what they had done for us. Bean's vision, to which we remain true, is best expressed as inscribed in the entrance to the memorial's galleries. Here is their spirit, in the heart of the land they loved, and here we guard the record which they themselves made. Tonight, we will read the story behind just one of those on the Roll of Honour, which lists the more than 102,000 men and women who have given their lives for us in war and other operations over more than a century. But first we present a lament, Flowers of the Forest. Wreaths or floral tributes will now be laid at the base of the Pool of Reflection.
Today we remember and pay tribute to Warrant Officer Alan John Painting, who was killed in the air war over Europe in the Second World War. Alan John Painting was born in February 1917, the son of John and Annie Painting of Whitton, New South Wales. Known as John within the Painting family, he attended Whitton Public School and Leeton Intermediate High School, played Australian rules football in the local competition, and worked as a surveyor's assistant and a truck driver. John had previously tried enlisting in the Citizens Air Force in Narrandera, but was rejected for an unknown reason. So he travelled to Sydney in October 1940, where he ultimately was accepted as a reservist in the Royal Australian Air Force. John, like most Air Force reservists, ended up transferring to the Permanent Air Force and began aircrew training at No. 1 Initial Training School in Somers, Victoria, in July 1941. John was sent to Canada in October 1941, where he underwent training in Manitoba as a wireless operator air gunner. John was one of approximately 16,000 RAAF pilots, navigators, wireless operators, gunners and engineers who went on to serve in the Royal Air Force squadrons in Britain under the auspices of the Empire Air Training Scheme. After completing training in Canada and logging hours at several operational training units in England, in October 1943, John was posted to 180 Squadron RAF at Dunsfold in Surrey. 180 Squadron formed part of the 2nd Tactical Air Force, whose role it was to support Allied ground forces in the build-up to the Normandy invasion. As such, 180 Squadron RAF was one of a number of British squadrons that flew the North American B-25 Mitchell, a fast and nimble medium bomber that was highly suited to the low-level daylight raids over Nazi-occupied Europe. While few Australian airmen served in the 2nd Tactical Air Force, John's younger brother William was posted to 320 Netherlands Squadron RAF and flew Mitchells from the same airfield. It is believed that John participated in just one raid with 180 Squadron. On the afternoon of 26 November 1943, John and 3 other crew members of Mitchell Foxtrot Lima 707 went missing during a daylight raid on the German construction works at Martin Vast near Cherbourg in France. It was confirmed after the war that John's aircraft collided with another Mitchell that had been hit by German anti-aircraft fire and had lost control in the tightly packed formation of bombers. Both Mitchells crashed near the town of Trouville and all air crew on board were killed. John's body remained missing, believed to have been buried in a communal grave near the crash site, until French authorities found the wreck of Mitchell Foxtrot Lima 707 in 1949. John's remains were recovered from the wreck and he was reinterred at Cherbourg Old Communal Cemetery, where he rests today. John's name is listed on the Roll of Honour on your right, along with 40,000 others from the Second World War. The photograph displayed beside the pool of reflection shows John on the right with his brother William, who survived the war. His is just one of the many stories of courage and sacrifice told here at the Australian War Memorial. We now remember Warrant Officer Alan John Painting and all of those Australians who have given their lives in the service of our nation. They shall grow not old, as we that are left grow old. age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun, and in the morning, we will remember them.
We will remember them.
Lest we forget.
Lest we forget.